All right, welcome back, kings and queens. We are back and we are talking the Diddy trial. The federal trial is underway and we are now into day 8. Day 8, let's see, the 5th, 2015, 16, 7. I think, hold on, wait. Wait a minute. We started on May 5th. So are we in day 15? Well, you know what? You can't count the weekends, but you get what I'm saying. So, anywho, the Diddy trial is underway. We're going to talk about it. Listen, I want to be very, very clear. There is some things that may be out of order. We have a lot of catching up to do. Today, I'm going to start off with the faces of Diddy's freak off escorts, the prosecution team. Good move. Good move on the prosecutors. Man, this is probably one of the best takedown strategies I've seen. I think we're all gripping our pearls. I think everybody is shocked that they had the audacity, the confidence, the bravery to release the photos of the escorts. Y'all, listen, let me tell you what they're doing. They're putting their damn backs against the wall. They're putting their backs against the wall. And let me tell you what I think. We're going to jump in. I think some of these people may have, I strongly believe some of these people, some of these men may have been paid off not to talk. And I feel like the prosecution is coming at it from an angle of, listen, it don't matter to us because it's dirty money. The fact of the matter is we are going to expose you. You don't want to work with us. You don't want to cooperate with us. You don't want to be on our sides. Guess what? Now the world knows. Now the world knows that you are out here and you are a goddamn gigolo. You are a paid prostitute. You are a male prostitute. You should have chosen the winning team. I ain't gonna say it's crazy. Listen, it is what it is, what it is, and I can only imagine the women. If these men are married, right? We can assume that a few of them may be married. The families, the children, seeing these photos, not knowing that their sons, their husbands, y'all, the shit has completely hit the fan. Pardon my language. We're going to talk about it. For those of you who are just tuned in or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
So let's just get it right. Let's just get right into it. On yesterday, May 19th, which was Monday, y'all, in the Diddy trial, the prosecution dropped a freaking bomb. I'm citing my source as TMZ. Diddy's alleged sex workers have been finally unmasked as week 2 of the testimony gets underway in the music mogul's federal racketeering and sex trafficking trial in New York City. Baby, when I'm telling you receipts upon receipts. On Monday, prosecutors released a document dump of exhibits entered into trial evidence, dropping an avalanche of photos and other information. Some of the pictures showed the faces of the sex workers Diddy allegedly hired to be transported across state lines for freak-offs with his significant others, plural, including Cassie. Wait, why did you emphasize others? She wasn't the only one, baby. She wasn't the only one. He had multiple options. She was just one of them. It sounds like Diddy would rotate the women, rotate his girlfriends, right? And these freak offs. The feds define a freak off as Diddy, a girlfriend, and a girlfriend. Not necessarily Cassie. Diddy, a girlfriend, and a male sex worker engaging in a marathon of sex sessions that were often recorded by the Bad Boy Records CEO inside hotel rooms. Prosecutors say Diddy forced or coerced his girlfriends into participating in the freak-offs. Let me ask you something. Most of these women, actually all of them that we know of to date, I'm not taking either side, but y'all, when they get into that deliberation room, the jurors, if you are a juror, you are going to have questions, okay? Most of these women, all of these women that we know of, are of age to consent. In your eyes, as the jury, did they consent to these marathon of sex sessions? Were they forced or did they volunteer? That's the question. If you were the juror, what would be your response? So what we're going to do is we're going to check out the snapshots of the male escorts whose images were shown on monitors in courtroom, y'all, yesterday. And the jury The 12 jurors, they got to see these men individually, one by one. And for the names that they had, they were calling out names. And they showed us during Cassie's testimony. Last week, Cassie was able to identify some of the escorts while not remembering the names of the others. Wow. From a psychological perspective, I have a question because I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the behaviors here. I would like to know, and I wish they had a psychological expert on stage. When Cassie's under the influence of drugs, alcohol, and all of these drugs and substances, what would make her remember some names as opposed to others outside of just getting high and I can't remember? Is there a specific incident? Is there a specific behavior? Was there a specific connection? I'm just wondering. I'm thinking on the psychological side of it. Okay, let's continue. All right, I'm going to read the rest, and then I'm going to run down the names. So one sex worker is named Jules. The third person in the hotel room with Diddy and Cassie the day of the infamous Intercontinental Hotel beatdown video in LA in 2016, y'all. His name was Jules. Another one's name is Jonathan Odie, okay, also known as Diddy and Cassie's alleged sex slave, who supposedly engaged in multiple freak-offs with the former couple. I wonder what made Diddy, just out of curiosity, keep him around longer. Some were just coming through, they were pass and go. Okay. Jonathan had a long, extensive stint with Cassie and Diddy. Now, according to Cassie's testimony on the stand, she felt like Jonathan was rough with her. He was extremely aggressive with her. I can't help but to wonder if Diddy enjoyed that. And is that the reason why um, he got to stay? I don't know. I'm just asking. Okay. Other sex workers pictured in the and just like the rundown to the jury included a Los Angeles based white man, good looking white man too. His name was Jake. Now we don't know if that's his real name, but what she can remember, his name was Jake. There was also a Miami-based black man named Craig, a New York-based black man named Brian, who they got off of Craigslist, a white man named Skylar, who was featured on the companion service Cowboys for Angels. And let me say this real quick before I show you the pictures. We can assume that no matter how handsome they appear to be, and the reason why I'm calling that out, because I saw on Instagram, the comments were just embarrassing from the women who were hooing and hawing over these men, forgetting that most of these men are not clean. Y'all, they're not clean. She developed sores in her mouth from some of these men. Okay, they're not clean, but listen, here are the photo archives of what was shown to the jury. This is Skylar. Wow. They put him out there. This is Skylar. This is Jonathan Odie. Imagine your friends, your family, your neighbors not even knowing that shit. Late at night, you sneaking out the house, you leaving through your garage to go do freak offs, marathon sessions. This is Ash. This is government exhibits. This is Brian. Don't he look nice? Like somebody's nice church boy that sings in a choir? This is Greg. Y'all, imagine showing up to work to your IT job on Monday and your photo is floating all around the news. This is Jake. He looks like a model. This looks like a headshot of somebody that's a model or wants to be a model. This is Johnny. Now, Diddy, come on now. This is Johnny. This is Jules. This is the man that was in the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016 when Didi was seen beating Cassie in the hallway. This, they don't know his name. Look at him. Wow. When the feds want you, they will come get you. When the feds want you, trust me, you can run, but you cannot hide. This, they don't know his name, but I'm going to assume that either he's in New York, this guy, or he's based in Los Angeles, based on this headshot, which appears to be that a model would submit to an agency. This, they don't know his name. Now, he looked dirty. He looked like he down for whatever. That's porn hair right there. That's the you know what, go Queen Sheba. This is unidentified. Don't he look like a nice man that lives in the country? This is the one that may have been on Cowboys for Angels, allegedly. This is unidentified. Damn. And listen, please consider as I'm going through these photos, he didn't allow her to protect herself. They didn't wear condoms, allegedly. Y'all, that's it. That's all for now. Let's skip to a different portion of the trial. Ooh, child. Give me 1 second. Other portion of this, I want to issue a trigger warning because, okay, so we're just thinking of this like some of you feel like it's consensual. Some of you feel like, it's not. This is a direct impact of abuse. But I want to get into these male escorts. And I really want to outline how dangerous this is because one of the escorts, the one named Ash, right? That all of the women were oohing and awing over, he's actually a murderer. He actually unalived, y'all. In 2020, he unalived his girlfriend. Now, I'm going to say his girlfriend out of respect for the deceased victim. I'm going to say his girlfriend. There has been conflicting reports of people don't really know the exact nature of the relationship. Some feel like there are accounts that he did pay her to hang out with him a few times, and there are bank statements that showed that she paid him a couple of times. Either way, whether she was his girlfriend or God forbid she was kind of or lured into the light that Cassie was, or whatever it was, it's still a dangerous game because he beat this woman to death and then he strangled her in his home. In his home. So this could have been done to Cassie. Diddy did not do a background check. Diddy did not do a background check regarding these men and who they were. He would just invite them in. Y'all, this could have gone wrong real quick and real fast because Diddy was not always present to my knowledge, and this, I'm gonna say allegedly, just in case I'm wrong, he was not necessarily always present in the room with Cassie and these men. And there's been times that it's been reported that he would actually tune in virtually. Okay. So anything could have happened to her with these guys being hyped up on drugs. Because I want to give you a little bit about this one named Ash. Okay. So Ash was actually a reality star. They say he lost his mind during. I don't want to call it a freak off. He lost his mind during an engagement with his girlfriend, his friend, his female companion, and he beat her to death with his bare hands, okay? And he's now serving 8 to 20 years in federal prison, okay? In Las Vegas. He actually starred in a reality show called Gigolos. His online name or his persona is Ash Armand, but that's not his real legal name. What's that man's legal name? Okay. Ashaya Kubiak, but he goes by Ash Armand. But his legal name is Ash Kubiak. So from 2011 to 2016, he starred in the reality show Gigolos. And Gigolos portrayed like the glamorous life, the risque lifestyle of 5 male escorts in Las Vegas. 4 years later, y'all, he's doing time. He's doing time for murder. Okay. Now, they were taking psychedelic mushrooms together, and he's claiming to authorities, or he claimed during that time, that he blacked out. He didn't know what happened. And of course, he's claiming that she attacked him. He called the police to report her being unconscious. And when the police arrived, they wrote in the arrest report that the girl was gone when they got there. She was obviously deceased. Her official cause of death was blunt force trauma and strangulations. Pause right there. Okay. Pause right there. These are male sex workers, okay? I want you to keep in mind that Diddy digitally recorded, we're going to assume, every freak off. Some of you feel like it was for collateral. I'm going to say, yeah, probably about 25% of the reason probably was for collateral, but I believe it's a little bit different. I believe that Diddy understands that things could have gone wrong. And I also question if Diddy has had freak offs with Jane Does that we know nothing about that have probably have gone wrong. And he has said, I think Diddy got bodies. We know he has bodies, allegedly, when it comes to men. Biggie, Tupac and all of that. But watch. Watch this. I told y'all about snuff. It's an underground world of porno movies, porno films that actually the outcome is somebody being alived. Sometimes it's not gruesome, sometimes it's OD, but these men, there's an underground world where men pay top dollar to watch whatever they want to watch. They keep their hands clean. They stay out of it. They can tune in from anywhere in the world. Why is this important? You gotta educate your daughters. You gotta educate your sons. Hell, it ain't even specific to girls anymore. There are people, there are monsters that have appetites. For you name it, I'll claim it. And this is so real. This is not a conspiracy theory. And although it has not been brought up in court, I would not be shocked. I promise you, I would not be shocked if Diddy has done worse. I don't even think we've begun to scratch the surface of what's happened. But based on what this man who Diddy hired as an escort did to his girlfriend, to his female friend, it is beyond me. Okay. Beyond me. But as I was reading the article, I said, man, that's what happens in snuff films. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And he did it in his home, y'all. He did it in his home. And we're not just talking about a guy that comes from nowhere. This guy was raised in a really decent home. He's Bohemian and Japanese, okay? He had a strong spiritual upbringing. I mean, he operated under practices, um, rituals where he really focused on strong mind body connections. But anywho, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background regarding the type of people that Diddy exposed this girl to, and he was not always in the room. Now, the official cause of death, I ran that by. Now let's get into something. Hold on, where is it? I wanted to get into one more thing real quick. So give me 1 second. According to reports from people that knew Ash, they said that I told you enough is never enough. They said that he wasn't really into, allegedly, the girls that would give it to him freely. He started to run out of an appetite for them, and he wanted more vulnerable women that hadn't experienced that type of escort life, the ones that hadn't really been touched like that. And he started to want a different type of prototype, if you get what I'm saying. So Herlene Dulai, she was 29 years old and she was a graduate from California, and she actually relocated to Las Vegas, okay? Um and I want to give you a little bit now. I want to give you a little bit of background. It's really unclear how they met. We do know there's been reports that they met on Instagram. It's being alleged that he kind of said hi to her first, and there's a possibility that she went to his DMs after he said hi. Okay. Um, he worked in Las Vegas as a professional escort, and he made a lot of money. He made a lot of money, y'all. Let's be clear. But hold on, let me go down. So they actually met in 2020. They met in 2020. She moved to Las Vegas after she received her postgraduate degree. And I think it was May or June in 2020. Shortly after this man met her, he unalived her. He unalived her. So when people are out on Craigslist, when they're out on these escort sites, people ain't just necessarily looking for a quote unquote hookup. There are men out there that are willing to do whatever it is that you need them to do. And that's crazy that he's one of the ones that Diddy had in the room. Now, according to the police reports and all of the information that have been provided in the documents, the reality star paid her $800. They have documentation. He paid her $800 on one occasion to spend 2 hours with him. And then on another occasion, he paid her $3,000 for an overnight date. And then on another occasion, he paid her $25,000 for a week. So, does this fall in the line of free costs? There's a strong possibility. But he grew tired of the women that were used, and he started to go out there and fish for the ones that were not necessarily virgins, but they were virgins to this lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? And he would actually pay for new blood so that he can get off to, whatever it is that made him happy. Now, like I said, the exact relationship between the two is unclear. Some people believe that maybe she was his personal trainer, while others thought that she may have been his dog walker. I can assume now that that was probably a fictitious relationship to hide the true nature of what was going on so that they can appear normal. That's why it's important that you talk to your sons and daughters and let them know what's really going on out here in these streets, okay? Because you cannot shield your kids from everything. This girl came from a great family, yet she still found herself in a dark web. And so have some of these women, right? That we see with Diddy. You be like, where was your parents? At home? At home? We see Cassie didn't tell her mom much. She wanted to protect her mom from all of the details of what she had gotten herself into. So how did she pass? I kind of talked a little bit about that. So just shortly after they met, I don't know if it was 3 months, but y'all, he was quick. Like I said, the police responded to a call at their home. He made a distressing 911 call, I guess, after his blackout was over, claiming that she was unresponsive after the pair had taken drugs together. Following the arrival of the authorities, Herlene was tragically pronounced dead at the scene. Despite the claims made by Ash, Herlene died of blunt force trauma and strangulation. I keep saying that. Please talk to your daughters. And her death was ruled a homicide, according to Clark County's coroner's office. She suffered injuries to her face, her eyes, and her forearms. A fragment. Oh, Lord have mercy. Trigger warning. Uh, Trigger warning. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A fragment of her tooth was found in her stomach. This was brutal. Armand had claimed that he had blacked out during the experience and had no memory of attacking Herlene, noting during his sentencing hearing, I don't know if I've ever done mushrooms before, he said to the dispatcher, but I was no longer in this reality. I was in a different reality. And then I saw the person next to me. I guess he's talking about when he woke up. Now, if you look at his mugshot, y'all, his eyes blank, empty. Armand was arrested in July 2020 and later charged and sentenced for her unaliving. He initially faced a murder charge but pleaded guilty in September, that's last year, of 2024 to felony counts of voluntary manslaughter and mayhem. As of 2024, Armand is believed to be incarcerated. Of course, I told you at a correctional facility in Las Vegas, but that's just a little bit about how deep this shit really goes. This is not just on the surface. I don't know if the feds are going to get to the nitty gritty of it all, but I wouldn't be shocked, y'all. I wouldn't be shocked at the amount of that we find out regarding the appetite of these monsters. I'm not just going to put it on Diddy, all of them. And when I say all of them, all of the men that covered up, all of the women that covered up, and you knew that somebody could have been unalived. Let's take it to the chat. What are your thoughts?